Algorithms Lesson 2. So now we've looked at pseudocode, we've looked at decomposition, abstraction and pattern recognition. We now need to look at actually applying our knowledge and creating an algorithm for a simple problem. So the problem I've got here is a program called 3 in 3 out. So we need to write a program that will allow a user to enter their name as a string, their age as an integer, and their favourite TV program as another string. The program will then display the information with some additional text on separate lines. An example of the input and output is shown below. So please enter your name, enter your age, watch your program, and it'll output it on the right hand side, as we can see. So first things first, what we need to do is start and end our algorithm. Now the first thing we should always be doing is declaring what variables, what things do we need to actually store in our program. So we've been given them, luckily, in this instance. We've got name, so str name, we've got int age, and we've got str tv. Now what we need to do is declare their data type. So str name is string, int age is integer, and strtv is string again. The reason I've called my variable names str, int, etc. is because it's always good practice to put the data type in the name. When you're creating more complex programs, you may have multiple variables with the same value but for different purposes. For example, printing the score out onto a scoreboard and actually calculating the score itself. So now we've thought about our variables, we need to think about what we actually need to do. Decomposing the problem is very simple in this instance. Input and output. So first things first, we need to think about how we're going to input all this information. So the first things first, we need to output some text. So literal output is output with some speech marks. So we can go output, please enter your name, output, what is your age, and output, what is your favourite TV program. And in between them we need to input the information. So we've got str name, set str name equals input, set int age equals input, and set strtv equals input. So what we're saying there is, every time we ask a question, we input that into these variables. First part of the program is completed. Now what we need to do is output that information. Quite simple. We just need to use our variable names. So output str name, output is output int age, output years old and likes, output strtv. And there we have it, a completed algorithm for that program that would work in any programming language, or most of them anyway. The other thing you may be confused about is why I have some of these without speech marks and some with speech marks. And that's purely because a literal output means exactly what you want to type out every single time. So I always wanted to say is and years old and likes. However, if someone called Michael uses the program, I want it to say Michael for name. If I used it, I'd want it to say Reese. It needs to be different every time. We need to use these values. So now I'm going to show you how to take a written algorithm in pseudocode and write it as a program in Python. So first things first, you should always comment the name of the program. So we've got 3 in, 3 out program. And I'm going to put in today's date. And it's just good practice to comment certain bits of information into your code. So now, just think about what we actually need to do. Convert across. So str name is string. So str name int age and strtv. So the reason why I've got blank values in here is in Python you can't just say a variable name like you can in other languages. In Python you have to apply, you is to put something in the box, in the variable, before you start using it. So I'm just going to set them all to a nice empty value. So now, output. You've got to think, right, what is the output command in Python or Java or C#, whatever you're using? So in this case, output is print. So I can go print, please enter your name. Probably shouldn't have a capital letter there. We've got print, what's your age? And we've got print, what is your favourite TV program? Then we can start using our sets. So we've got str name equals input, int age equals input, and strtv equals input. Now, when looking at your code, you might realise that inputs as a string. So in this program itself, it's actually really not needed to be an integer. We aren't doing anything to it. We aren't times in it. We aren't adding to it. But just to be correct, if it's a number, it needs to be an integer input. So we've solved this problem here. So now we've got all the information we need. We just need to output it. So we can go print str name, print is print int age, print years old and likes, and print strtv. So if I run the program, just quickly need to save that. Program started to run. Please enter your name, Reese, what's my age, 24, so TV program. So Reese is 24 years old and likes The Big Bang Theory. My input, so what is my name, what's my age, and what's my TV program, exactly as it said, and as outputted it exactly as the customer, the end user, wants me to. So I've converted a written algorithm into a Python program with not much thinking. I didn't have to think about what I was doing. The hardest bit of thought was converting my variables.